Hi, everybody. Welcome back to week 4 of the ebook curriculum weekly meetings. We're super excited that you're here, whether you're watching this on YouTube or the blog. But we'll go ahead and get right into it. Tonight, we're talking about child-led versus parent-led learning. So Megan, go ahead and tell us what that's all about.
Okay, so child-led versus parent-led learning is pretty self-explanatory, so it's going to be kind of short, but I just want to emphasize them to you. So child-led learning is when the child is making the decisions, where to play, what to play with, et cetera, et cetera. Parent-led learning is when the parent is making decisions and they're guiding what will happen. This is kind of more of the traditional role of teaching that we think of, kind of like what you might think of like happening in a classroom. So the benefits of child-led learning are, number one, the child is in charge and can pursue any path or thought or idea. They can explore anything that's coming to them, anything that they're noticing. Number two, exploration is taking place. There's no pressure to learn something specific or the right way. They just explore and learn about their environment. Number three, learning is deep and complex because they're engaged through play, which we know is the best and most important way children learn. And they're asking lots of questions. When they're the leader, they're really invested in the learning. Number four, it fosters a love of learning for your child, which is super important in these early years. Number five, learning happens quickly because so much focus is put into it. When the child is leading it, they are super interested. And so they're going to pay attention to things and dive deep into it. Some benefits of parent-led learning are the parent is taking a more active role in the learning, which can be important in building relationship and other types of things like that. And number two, it's important for learning a specific skill where there is a right or wrong way. Or if it's not safe, to trial and error, other sorts of things like that. For example, tying a shoe, not something you would necessarily just stumble upon by experimenting. Cooking an egg, not really something that's safe or practical to learn through experimentation. So those kind of things need to be taught in a parent-led environment. So how can we foster child-led play? Because we know that's important. So number one, give time and space for your child to play and experiment. Basically, just let them be a kid and they're going to start learning. Number two, play with your child. Get down and become involved in whatever their game is and you follow their lead. Number three, ask questions. These questions should deepen thoughts or make their ideas more complex. But they should definitely go along with the child's idea that they're pursuing. And number four is follow the leader. So kind of the theme in all of these is just follow your child's lead. You play with them, but play what they want to play, follow their ideas, their leads, et cetera, et cetera. And how you can direct parent-led play. Number one, you need to be developmentally appropriate, which it means that you need to take into account the age of your child because there's basic milestones that children reach at different ages. And so you want to be doing something that's going to be challenging for them, but achievable. You want to consider their individual needs and their individual skills. And then you also want to consider the context of the play or the activity. And whatever you're learning, take those factors into consideration when you're developing what you're going to be teaching or how you're going to be teaching it. Number two, make it clear. You might have to explain it in multiple different ways so they're able to understand. You might have to show them. You might have to tell them with one way and another way. You might have to watch a video of it. Take the time to really explain to make sure that they're understanding. Number three, have patience. A lot of times what you're wanting to teach or what you're thinking is important to learn isn't what they are really caring about. And so sometimes, honestly, you just might have to come back to it. Sometimes you just have to be patient as they work through it and learn that they don't always have to be in charge. Number four, be flexible and willing to pursue other directions. Maybe you're trying to teach one thing, but your activity ends up turning into another thing. Like, be okay with that. That's how it's going to go, but that's still learning. They're still learning something and they're learning something that they really need. And then number 5, just keep trying. That's the whole thing with teaching your kids, is you just got to keep trying. It's a lifelong journey, and you have to just keep trying things and testing out what works for you and your kid. So those are my tips. I want you to try implementing both of those things, giving time for your child to have child-led, and then also implementing things that you want to teach for your child to learn.
Do you have any specific ideas within the curriculum of certain activities that lend themselves more to child-led versus parent-led learning?
Yeah, so I would say really any of the dramatic play ones are ones that the child can lead easily, because you kind of just set out all the materials and they get to imagine this own world of theirs, right? And you just get to be along for the ride and ask questions and try and make their play more deep. And then I would say there's some activities in, like, I can't remember what that section is called. Just
I think it's
other activities that,
yeah, things to do maybe.
I think it's things to do. I would say that one kind of lends itself more to parent directed. For example, if you're going to visit a farm, you're probably going to want to point out things about a farm that maybe aren't just like some, maybe if not about space or something, or if you're growing a plant, you're going to want to help them do the steps correctly so that the plant will actually grow. And yeah, so that's what I would say. Kind of also sensory play is one that lends itself to child directed very easily. It's kind of just an exploratory environment.
Awesome. Well, we hope these tips are helping you guys as you're implementing this curriculum. And hopefully it's giving you guys something fun to do with your kids this summer. If you do have any specific questions you'd like us to answer in the next 2 weeks that we're doing these, feel free to comment them down below or message us on Instagram or email us, and we'd be more than happy to answer those questions along with giving these tips. But we hope that this is helpful to you, and we will see you next week.